Here at Strixton Manor Farm, we're farming about 1,000 acres, 400 hectares, which is a small, medium-sized family farm. So we're growing 300 hectares of crops, that is wheat, oats and oilseed rape. So the wheat is all for milling, for bread making, all going very locally. The oats are for milling, all going very locally. And the oilseed rape makes vegetable oil. And on the farm, we've got probably a quarter of the farm is set down to environmental stewardship schemes. So we're tithing quite a big area of the farm for the benefit of wildlife. And we've also got grass that grazes sheep. We're using a method called regen farming, and that means we're not inverting the soil. It's a lot better for the worms. You're not squishing the worms. It's better for the insect. It's better for the biology of the microbes in the soil. The big thing is keeping plants covered on the ground all year, so the heavy rain that we're often getting now isn't damaging the soil. So they're called cover crops. So we're not ploughing the ground, we're having crops on the ground for nearly all the year. It might not be a crop we're harvesting, it's just a crop for the benefit of the soil.
Great, so David, what can you tell me about this crop? What's this?
This is milling wheat. So milling wheat is for the milling industry and it makes flour for bread. So the country produces about 6 million tonnes of milling wheat. The country needs 6 million tonnes, and we will grow 2,000 to 3,000 tonnes out of that 6 million. So this all goes very locally to varying mills. There's Weetabix locally that takes wheat. There's Whitworths, Haygarts. Our wheat this year is nearly all going to Haygarts, which is a mill half an hour away, and they will make flour for bread. Less than 30 years ago we planted this hedge. It was quite bare and open up here. So we planted hawthorn and a mixture of trees. And this is what we can achieve in 28 years. So as part of our biodiversity net gain, we could be planting hedgerows for more gain.
So David, what was it that made you decide to seek support from the NEIRF programme?
We're farming in an area of massive industrial new development, residential development. And when the idea of the builders having to provide this extra 10% environmental gain in their developments, it was known that some of the builders won't be able to supply it, somebody else has got to supply. So I thought we, as a business, were in a good position with the background we have in environmental management and food management to supply B&G units as well as feeding the world. So we're standing now on a site which is a redundant gravel pit. We took this land over immediately after the extraction of the gravel, and what we've developed a few years after that then became an SSSI. So it is credit really to the business that we have created habitats for breeding waders that have been recognised by Natural England. And so I do feel we're in a position where we can do more. So we have more land that is of low agricultural value because some of this land has been dug for sand and gravel and has been put back to farming. Well, that never yields as much grain as virgin good land. So I think it's very sensible and environmentally right to put land that has been previously dug for gravel into I'll call it a 30-year stewardship scheme that we will then call B&G units. Well, the NEIRF programme has allowed me to take on the best professional advice in order to get my head round the subject that not everybody really understands yet. So we're using a firm from London called Finance Earth, who are leading the project, but this ground has all been baseline surveyed. That means the ecologists, that's a firm Nicholson's we've been using for 20, 30, well, 40 years. They've been and measured the ecology on the ground, and what we're looking at is environmental gain can we have over the existing. So that is then the gain, the biodiversity gain. We're using Carter Jonas, who are going to be the sales agents, because they've got a fantastic understanding of what's needed in the development market. They know what the builders are needing, and they're going to advise us as to what we've got to supply in order to get the right units for sale. So we've got to decide what we're going to do, have a 30-year management plan, and then stick to it.
How close do you think you are to becoming ready for sale?
I'd like to think in a couple of months' time, because we've learnt what we need to learn. We'll be then on a national register by the end of the summer. This is March 2025, so by the end of the summer of 2025, we'll be on a register and I would have thought ready for sale. My expectation is most people will not want to buy the unit until they've got the planning permission, but the planning authority is going to want to know before they give the planning permission that they have the availability of purchase. So there will have to be a legal agreement, and we'll be calling it an option agreement. So there will be a legally produced agreement between the developer and myself and the planner, probably, that will mean if they get the planning, we will then supply them that unit. My good neighbours here are the Wildlife Trust, so we farm right up next to this Wildlife Trust nature reserve, and the idea of the NEIRF project is to see if we can potentially buffer the site, make the site slightly bigger, because the site has a massive pressure of people enjoying the site, and there's always going to be a slight conflict between vast numbers of people enjoying nature in a relatively small area. So it would be absolutely great by having more environmental features adjoining the site, and that then is good for the environment and good for the people here.
The British Standards Institute has recently launched its Nature Investment Standards Hub and programme to try and increase confidence in the market. I think that's designed to give farmers like you a standard to meet, so that buyers have got full assurances of what you're going to be delivering. Do you think that going forward that's going to be valuable to you?
Well, it is valuable because I understand that we are the world leaders in the delivery of this type of, or the biodiversity unit for development, and other countries are looking at what England is doing, and well, they're looking with interest because it isn't being done anywhere else in the world. So that actually gives me confidence that the government won't pull the rug under our feet, because if the whole world is looking at us, then I hope it will carry on.